I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. Anyone have any changes they want to make to the agenda? Okay. Will everyone please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There's no one here for the privilege of the floor. So, okay. Approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any changes they want to see made to the minutes of the last meeting?
You want to be consistent with the 500s and 600s?
Sorry, where?
For all the motions.
Yeah, why are some of them 500 and some are 600?
Ryan came in late.
Oh.
Oh,
After
okay.
he came in, he voted, and before that it should have been 5 zeros.
Right,
Did I
okay,
do
thank
anything
you.
wrong?
It says,
No,
but it
I
says
just-
Ryan's absent.
Yes.
No, but he
and
didn't
then
come on.
there's a line that
Tentatively,
says
but then
Ryan
appointment.
entered.
And then it says enter Ryan Reed 746.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Stage left.
Enter. Yeah, I was just like, enter.
There you go.
This is pretty good, 7:46. How many seconds on that?
Yeah.
Round it up.
Okay then.
If you go for a drink of water.
May I
you
have a
can
motion
finish
to,
it.
wait, one-
do you have a question?
No, one change. Under new business, thank you for the acknowledgement, but I believe it was Keith who suggested that
No, it
board
wasn't me.
members.
I just brought it up.
Oh.
It was none of us.
Okay.
It was just, we're wondering.
Oh.
I think I mentioned that.
There you go, okay.
Jim takes it. Sold.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't you.
Under other
credit,
page
Yes,
one.
Jim. Yes.
Right.
Can do.
Okay, thank you. Any other changes? May I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Jim, second. Norma, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody, okay. Got that, Carol?
Yes.
All right, treasurer's report.
Okay, evening everybody.
Hi, Jack.
We have the reports here through March, which I think is the 3/4 point for the year. 3 months left.
Right.
Doing fine, staying on the course that we've been on. Salaries are still, month of March we were a little bit over, but overall we're still a little bit under year to date. We'll probably end the year right on. We're close to right on, so kind of hitting a bullseye there. Nothing else really stands out. Everything has been steady as she goes, more or less. Total spending 911 compared to 924, plus books not entered. The 911 will be higher, so more or less we're right on budget for the whole overall package as well. As of this report, we had 172,000 left in the checking and almost 274 in the savings. And today we got our last tax check for the year, another 117,000. So now we have about 240 something left in the checking, because the 172 went down with payroll last week. So, but I checked it after today's number plus today's deposit, we got about 244. So we'll probably end the year with what we've been saying all along, around 250 or so, between 245 to 260 range, more or less, which is what we always thought. Because the 273 will have, I didn't enter the April payment yet, but I'll get to that in a minute, the April loan payment. So the 273 will go down by 3 loan payments, so that'll end, right around the 250. And then hopefully what we have left in the checking, the 244, should just about cover everything. But we'll probably have to transfer money at the end so we're not cutting it that close, move more money back into
Right.
the key account. And the loan payment that we made for April was done on April 1st. And now the loan balance is 172,326.18 with a year and 9 months to go.
Great.
And so more or less we're right on track and holding the course.
Any questions?
Actually, I'm not sure of protocol here. We were looking at this, and we would like to have you guys make a journal entry I noticed that we still have this replacement books line that won't get used. It's $1,000. Hoping to move that $1,000 up into the adult books line.
Okay.
Which is what we did for next year's
Right.
budget, right, we just zapped that out and added it to the other book line.
So, we can take care of that under new business.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions for Jack?
Are we going to, I think, every quarter have a list of bills or something like that? We had decided to have periodic.
Oh, the listing of the checks that were cut, yeah, you want me to bring that to the next meeting for the
Yeah.
month of
Yes.
That's a good idea.
April? Okay, yeah, we're doing that periodically, right,
Right,
yeah,
right.
sure, I'll bring, next month I'll make sure I have a
Okay.
list of checks.
Under the state retirement,
Mm-hmm.
which went from 75 to 66, the 8,500 over budget?
Yeah, 'cause the projection they gave us was 66,600, and then this is the first year the projection was wrong. But I think we said that we could do a journal entry possibly later in the year if it looks like we're not gonna use. I think we were thinking about the professional fees, professional
Yeah,
services.
It's about 10 grand under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing really we should have left under professional services should be Rob's
Rob's.
bill, which I think there's 3 more left in the year. But I think we said that we were gonna possibly do that to offset the retirement. But this is the first time the retirement that's happened. Normally what they project is right, but this time it was more.
Okay, so that is money that we have to pay into the retirement, that we have
Yeah,
in
we
the-
already
in
paid
the-
it in December, yeah.
Okay.
It's once a year we do the payment. Technically, it's due in February, but if you pay it a couple months early, you save like $500 or something. So
Okay.
we paid it in December, but yeah, their number was just off.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Jack? I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Norma, the second. Nancy, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, have a great night, everybody. Thanks.
You too.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay. Committee reports. Anybody got anything for us?
Well, the Friends had about 50 people showed up for the book talk.
Oh, good. Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday, it was a very
Oh,
nice
that's
group.
terrific.
And I thought it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. Yeah. It's a good, good thing for the community and
Mhm.
for the library, so worked out well.
I think we're planning to have another one in the summer on Gettysburg. It's the Chancellorville, yeah, Gettysburg. So people were interested. They were asking if he does. He's doing a series of these. So.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's gonna be the same man.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we're also gonna do the band concert and the ice cream social. This year we're going to schedule it indoors just from the get-go
Okay.
next door because it worked out so well there. People seem very comfortable and you don't have to worry about weather.
Okay. So next door, you mean the school building?
This will, yeah.
Okay. I'm turned around, no, I know. I'm turned around. I know you meant that way, not the restaurant, you meant the school building, got it.
Do I need to call the ice cream? Oh, it's,
I did
you
that.
okay. And
Yeah, ice cream's all set and the contribution from Norton Christensen's all set, so.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other, committee news? Yes, Carol?
Just to report on the vote.
Oh, thank
that,
you.
That everything is in place as it should be. The machines are upstairs, our people are hired, and absentee ballots have gone out. Everything that was expected to be done is completed and looks in line. And we've even got the Goshen Chamber to put out a buzz that to come in and vote.
Mhm.
So we've added a few things. Our website is more visible about our vote. And we seem to be getting a little bit more of interest from people who hadn't been interested before. And it seems to be going along very well.
Good, thank you, Carol. Anything else?
I had one question. I saw, I forget which library it was gonna have a hearing on their budget. I assume, did we have a hearing and no one showed up, or did we not have a hearing on the budget, public hearing?
I don't know that we ever had a public hearing on our budget.
I'm just wondering if that's something that we should do in the future. Probably
We have a meeting, then we have the budgets open, meetings open to the public and the budget, I'm sorry, budget discussion during the meeting is open to the public, so I don't think we ever felt the need or the, yeah, I don't think we ever had to. I mean, if it's something we're supposed to do, then we should.
I don't know, I just saw this announcement of a public hearing for Cornwall, or I forget which library it was. And I said to myself, Joe, I wonder if we're supposed to do that or should do that?
I don't think we are. I'm wondering if maybe it's because they were going to do something extraordinary with their budget this
Yeah.
year. You know, like, if you're gonna go beyond the 2%, you might wanna have a
Right.
public meeting to explain yourself.
Right.
But beyond that, I don't see the reason. I mean, we have a public meeting, everything's recorded.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Jim.
just a thought.
No, it's an interesting thought.
It might be a different type of library, it might be a public library versus, or town library versus,
That's true too. It
school
might be
district
There may be
special district.
requirements.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything you want to discuss? Physical resources, nothing really went on the last month, right?
No, thankfully.
Your letter to the editor was very nice, by the way, Jim.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just thinking of community, you're part of the newsletter, I just read all these wonderful things from everybody, it was very nice.
I reworked her
Okay.
material. Plagiarized.
Here's my bill.
Okay, then I take it back. All right.
And a professor at that.
All right, well, okay.
It's in the public domain.
I'm not 50 years dead yet.
All right, director's report, lay it on us, Jack.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, man.
So the state report was filed. And as usual, we have a couple boxes I checked off that we could have to put we'll have a variance request to submit eventually. And these state requirements, it's not ADA, remember, it's state requirements. They're sort of gray, you know. It's, do you have enough lighting? Do you have enough seating? Do you have enough space? And so the two that we had dealt with the lighting, that we fixed, but the space and the seating still come up short. So that's what I'll be asked by RCLS to submit something in writing proving that we are doing our best to deal with the situation by paying the land off, for instance, or by keeping our ears open for propositions for children here or there, or so. And I believe we are. I mean, we have been working toward that. It's just obviously the economy's not helping, so we move slowly.
Well, what do you tell them regarding not having enough space?
Just that we have to prove that we're looking to do something about it. I mean, for instance, in our case, just having the land is enough that shows that we're at least keeping the options open for a new building. I mean, if we were doing nothing.
But what do you use as, I don't know if it's proof, that we don't have enough space?
That's the thing. There's no, it's not.
We have,
It's
you
a-
know, what other,
It's subjective.
This is
well, I
It's
mean,
not like,
Aren't there some state recommendations or regulations or?
No, there's no
Basic
formula,
level.
unfortunately.
No formula
It does
based
not.
on population?
No, I mean, there are formulas recommended by the ALA for buildings and such, but there's nothing required by the state. There's no benchmark to we had this come up in this class just a couple of days ago,
well,
to judge it by. It's just by your, visual, by seeing people having nowhere to sit and having to leave because they can't.
but there's also space for resources, and should we have a certain number of books, per category? And is there a representative library in their holdings that could be used as a standard to measure us by?
There may be out there, there may be something, but it's not, the state report doesn't give you any parameters.
So we don't know how many people should be able to sit down at a library.
well, as many people as show up should be able to sit down is pretty much the benchmark. So if we have 40 people to show up, the building only holds 44,
Well, that's something.
they have to leave. I mean, it's subjective that way. It's not like there's hard and fast rules that your library should accommodate 72 people or anything like that.
Which would be nice.
If
It would be
everybody,
nice to have.
it would be
some kind
nice,
of a-
but I think they also don't want to require things that certain municipalities
Wouldn't
can't
be able
live
to,
up
right.
to. If you live somewhere the library's not that popular, then you have plenty of seating, but we have plenty of people coming in, there's standing room only, there's no place to park,
Except
we don't
for
have
this
enough.
today.
Yeah,
This
well,
morning.
Yeah,
Here. You don't see the parents that are all,
Oh, yeah.
You know,
all against the wall, right.
They're
This
not able
morning?
to sit down.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Here?
yes.
Why weren't those children in school?
They're little.
Preschool.
Oh, I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
I know,
Right.
those kids are big.
What? Another one.
But you can't see their
Big these
faces,
days.
except
Okay.
for-
Right, right.
Can you pass the picture
That's
down?
not big enough.
Can you pass the
So it's
picture?
kind
Oh,
of a
sure,
thing,
sure.
right? Sure.
Well, there's been cases where we turned paid kids away.
Right, exactly, so that's
Yeah.
what it means by is it big enough, and can we accommodate everyone who wants to use our
Well,
library?
that's a
The answer
good
is no.
metric to
Right.
have a count of what we've turned away for various programs.
Well, it's funny, by the way, I remember we had a discussion last month, and Jim, I promised I'd bring this in. But once it finally came to me, I couldn't recall from my chicken scratch what it was we were gonna use it for. This is Robert Hubisher's guide to how you get a building built. We were discussing,
I guess the process that we're gonna have to go through, the step-by-step
Okay.
process in order to get to the point where there's a vote.
but the reason it just popped in my head now is because it has some of those metrics in here. It's Canadian. But he insists that that he doesn't want to use those, he said that's one way of approaching it, but he's got a couple of theories as to how you should look at, but if you want to take a look at this, you're welcome.
I love it.
But there are some
Can I take a
formula.
look at it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You have to check it out.
No,
You know,
it's-
in regard to people coming to sit down, right now, there's tables upstairs, and there are lots of chairs and there's long tables. And if you compare that type of space with, if you go to the Warwick Library where there are carols and you're kind of by yourself, and,
Mhm.
I mean, we would have three times as
Oh,
many
like this
people
one.
if this was an inviting place to work.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be squeezed in between, six people, and you barely can get your laptop down,
Right.
it makes it very difficult.
Mhm.
So,
I think we should invite him back when we are at the, at that line, because when, the first time he came here, I mean, he was talking about things like, in the way Jim is thinking, people don't sit, like this and take up this much space. They'll put their chair back, and that means, do you have space to walk? Do you, that sort of thing. And he made a lot of really, really good points, so I
You're
think.
talking about Robert Hutch?
Yes.
Oh.
So when we're there,
Mhm.
and
Oh, absolutely.
to help us finesse our thinking,
Absolutely.
to help us guide us, I think he said, let's use them. We pay
Mhm.
for the service. Let's
But
use them.
It's a good point too, where, yes, we gotta think about the environment that our patrons work within, but also, the ADA requirements
Mhm.
of being able to put a wheelchair
Mhm.
through that area,
Absolutely.
that this chair is extended out from a table.
Mhm.
There's strollers in
these
the
are
children's
all-
area with
Exactly,
moms.
strollers
Right,
too.
no, right,
With our
and an
moms.
architect that builds libraries takes that sort of things into account.
Yeah,
What he's
good.
talking about is the state report that we have to file every year,
Mhm.
and the fact that we don't have enough room for everybody who wants to use our library, we have to get a waiver every year. And, I mean, not that this isn't good, it's just that we got, of course, is my.
So this report isn't regarding not being ADA?
No,
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 right.
the ADA compliance is a separate issue.
Okay.
Well, Carol's already weighed in on the budget trustee election.
Mhm.
Thanks, Jim, for that.
Yeah.
For the,
I know. I'm getting emails from all over the country from family. Good luck.
Mail by the.
I contacted Becker up again. He was the guy that was going to come in the fall to do the cupola, but then the weather got weird, and so
Right.
he's still intending to do it. He just wants to get up there when it's not dangerous, I guess. And the contract with lawn maintenance was renewed. I did. Jim had suggested having some kind of provision there to make sure that we don't have situations last year where the leaves fell after their scheduled fall cleaning, or half of them anyway. I was wondering if that's a sycamore thing. Maybe sycamore trees hang on to their leaves longer or something.
Yeah.
Because it's all sycamores out there, which are not that common in people's yards.
Means they're healthy.
Right. But they said, basically, we put a clause in there that I will call them when we want that done. So they won't be on, we're not on their schedule, they'll wait for
They'll
us
be
to
on
call
ours.
and they'll come. Right.
Good.
So that should take care of that. They raised the price nominally, I think 4%, and I added one trimming, which was $70 for the bushes, so there's 3 trimmings instead of 2. those things seem to grow like weeds. Let's see, we took advantage of a pretty good, offer that came along through Time Warner Cable. It's about $200 a year, and we doubled our bandwidth.
Nice.
Let's see. Color printing's up and running. I don't know how often it gets used, but,
At least once.
Well, it works really well, too.
Let's see. Cornerstone, one of the plays that we're underwriting, the Civil War shorts, began, open Saturday night. Norma's seen it.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And
it was
Carol?
Carol,
Carol was
okay.
good.
And it was a full house, full house on
Yes.
Saturday night?
Sold out.
Okay,
And that, a lot of people who had never gone to a play
really?
there,
Wow.
when I went on Saturday night. So that was,
New faces.
and they were wondering, why, the library is doing this? And yes, your library is doing this.
That's good.
Oh, that's good. Very nice.
But we need to, I think we should get it into the records of that next time we work with Cornerstone, they have to choose a site which is handicap accessible, because that's one of our problems here, and then we turn around and contract with a group that has a very difficult facility to get into. My wife can't go to that. Those stairs are too difficult for her.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, she's hanging on with two hands, and people are going around her, and she's embarrassed, and it's painful for her.
Of course,
She
our
just said that
libraries
the last
are-
time we went, she said, I just can't go back to that site. And so we should, there are other sites, I mean, the Main Street School is right there. I think if we're gonna work with any group, that should be one of the things that we have on the list, that it's accessible to everybody.
Mm. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Absolutely. I had
Um,
not thought about it.
and the class is fantastic, by the way, Johnny
Oh,
Nichols.
the class you're taking?
Yeah. I've had, three of them now?
You're gonna be like the greatest director ever.
Well, that's one of the funny things I say in all humility. He's one of those people that you see in your field that it's right on the line between being inspiring and crushing. You know what I mean? It's right on that line. And it's like, you don't think this guy knows everything about everything. He's been around, he's been doing it a while, and because he was a librarian for so long, it's not just the library world. I mean, you just throw anything out there, any topic, he seems to be able to just go off on it and just, have you read this? Have you seen that? You just went over that. It's just a storehouse of information and very helpful, great professor, really, a rarity of not, insofar as he doesn't just know the stuff like that, but he is able to take what you're saying and then say it better than you just said it. Just really listen so acutely and put it together, and in a way that doesn't come across as, it's polite, but really amazing guy, I'm telling you. I wish maybe he will at some point, because he's a consultant as well. But it's fantastic. So, okay, that's it for me for now, I think.
Well, thank you.
Any questions?
Just have one thing, back to the cupola,
Yes.
and whoever ends up with the work, I've been educating myself because I'm having work done at my house.
Okay.
Did they provide you with insurance, their own insurance?
Yes, their own
A copy of,
insurance.
they provided, or do they give you the name of their insurance provider and you contact them and they send you that's
We
one of the
always
things
check
that
if
I've
they're
just learned
insured,
as
but I
a
never took a
homeowner, if
copy.
you're having
Maybe
work
we
done.
should.
That
Yeah.
it's the insurance company is supposed to send it to you directly.
Okay, that's good to know.
I did not know that. Just
I mean, in our
Same.
guidelines for any contractor, we always check that they're licensed, they're insured and
Right.
such, but.
yeah.
So
Same
it'd
as
be nice.
if you rent the harness racing museum for a party,
Yeah.
you have to have your insurance company provide them with proof.
So we do that when we use other spaces. We have a rider that we send over all the information. Like we're gonna use St. James for the summer, so it must be the same. Right.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt?
The numbers are really good on the reports and activity. Really nice to see. The Spanish story time is 15.
No, it's really,
That's really growing. What was the movie that got 15? Family movie afternoon.
it was a Disney, Brave.
Great.
Okay. Disney movie. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move on to our unfinished business, which will be our strategic plan. Where would you like to start?
Well, I sent copies to everybody
Yeah.
right after the meeting, people have it, I didn't bring up copies today, unfortunately. I guess we need to see if these, as far as the current year is concerned, year one, how we're doing, and what we need to, what the next step is.
I've actually got a lot of this done, surprisingly, before we finalize that.
So on the first one, we, I guess in the minutes, it says we are gonna contact,
An attorney for,
yeah, how do
We
we
did,
phrase that?
we're waiting on it, executive session.
Yeah.
okay, so we're,
We'll talk about that later.
Can I have some information
Yeah.
for
All right.
executive session?
So we'll deal with that later. And the repairs on the buildings,
That's in the budget.
is in the budget, so that's hopefully
Progress.
moving along.
we're,
The grant business,
Yeah, but that never went anywhere. We came up with the idea of this.
maybe we need to do a shout out to see if there is somebody who is a grant writer and wants to, will help us.
So should we put something on our homepage, on our website, and just like word of mouth, that kind of a thing also? Or did you wanna make it more formal and put it in the paper? I mean,
I'm just trying to, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, there are a number of grant writers, I mean, working at local libraries, I don't know if they're all full-time, part-time, I could ask around, I mean, they basically pay for themselves if you get a good one, you know, so.
Right.
I'll see how other libraries, deal with that, I think Monroe has one that I know of, that's all that she does is grant and
Wow.
PR, that's why they have that beautiful glossy, it almost looks like a periodical, it's, you know, but she somehow set it up with the, local businesses, it's sponsored totally by their, advertisements, but she's got a lot of good ideas. I'll talk to Eleanor too, she's had some more experience than I have with grant people, grant writing, but.
Well, if you're unable to find one, then I think we should put an ad out.
And there's nothing in the budget at this point for a grant writer,
No,
so we
there
would
isn't.
need to figure that out too.
like, is there anybody, like, if we start with the Friends, so Friends are such a big organization now. Start asking there if anybody has that kind of experience.
We could ask the friends, I don't know, I'm thinking that if there are people working with other libraries, grant writers, maybe we could, put the word out in that, venue as well. I'll ask, the friends meet next week, and I'll ask if they wanna try to join the effort to look at someone.
I talked to a few people, two people that were not grant writers who said, oh, you probably have to have them on staff. Talked to a third person who's a grant writer for a museum and said, oh no, they take a percentage of whatever they bring in. So I don't know whether it's a mixed bag or whether that's just the grant writer has it right and that's what we should be looking for maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's the person, maybe that's how we hire the person, cause we don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Maybe
you hire a
that's how you have
lawyer,
to hire the person.
and if they win your case, then you pay them, you know what I mean? So if they,
And then it's gotta be tricky too, cause then if you get the grant 6 months after they apply for it, then they have to wait for their money.
well, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So do we. Okay. Alright, well, we worked on budget for new technology for the new budget that's, being voted on Wednesday, isn't it? It's in the budget. And we do have a secure wireless network now. So we can actually cross that out. That's exciting. Now, our community outreach. How's that going besides our newsletter?
Well, the Cornerstone is part of that.
Right. We do have, And you're also a member of,
Rotary,
right, you're a
soon to be
member
on
of
the
the
board.
chamber and the volunteer firemen and whatnot on our board, so.
I'm a member of the Lions.
You're a member of the
We
Lions.
have two, past board
Right.
members in the Lions.
Right, so there's kind of we've infiltrated our plan is working. Yes, Carol?
Going to the Lions next
Oh,
year.
well, okay.
Oh, a lioness?
Lioness. Hear her roar.
Now revamping the website, we don't have anything else down here.
We've done it once.
We have,
We
right,
know what I
we
did,
did,
Ongoing all the time.
yeah, it is kind of
It's
an
an ongoing
ongoing
thing.
thing, so it's,
Yeah, it's nice and clear when you go there, it's not confusing the way some of the websites are.
right, it is pretty stupid, good job, Ben. And special mailings, newsletters, I don't remember what that was about, do you?
That
Cause we
was-
were doing our
special
regular
events.
newsletter, but were we looking to do an extra newsletter or?
No, that was when we were
focus?
talking about, we were brainstorming regarding when, you know, reaching out to the public, to the community for a new building.
Okay, so
You
this
know,
is
so
related
this
to
is-
the new building?
yeah, you know,
And the
that-
public meetings are also related to the new building?
Correct.
Okay.
And just, you know, if, when we get to that point again, to just
Right.
cover as many bases as possible. And the newsletter was one of, if we have one special mailing,
Right,
when we get to the point of a new building.
this is what we would do,
Mhm.
community outreach, well, it's got it.
Mhm.
Now, we don't have anything on here specifically for the new building, so I started really rough notes. Each goal would be the new building, 'cause we can't make this one ADA compliant. Our loan for the land will be paid off in January of 2015, which is halfway through the 14-15 fiscal year, which would free up half the money we have budgeted for that loan, and we could use that money for engineers' reports and architects and, you know, it's 8,000
I'm sorry,
and
what did you
something
say,
months.
you said we were gonna finish paying it?
January 2015 is the last payment.
And
So
we should
we have
have-
one full fiscal year that we have left, and then 6 months or 7 months into the 14-15 year, which gives us 5 or 6 months of, it's about 8,400 a
Mhm,
month that we
mhm.
have budgeted for that loan, which we can now move to, you know, I
Offset.
mean, I think
Mhm.
it is in the new building line already, but then we can use it for engineers' reports and, so I heard things about, there was, I don't know if we know actually what the sewer situation is under that land, and there's pipes and all this other, it's not an improved lot, but there were sewer lines because of the school and because of the convent.
Mhm.
So I think an engineer's report is the place to start with the land before we move on to an architect, does that sound right?
But
Was
there
that
wa-
done before?
That was before the.
Was that done before
as
when
part of
the-
that.
I don't know, I don't remember.
I don't
Here,
either,
I've
but,
seen
and I
it
also
there.
don't know how
You
long
have
those
the
things are
paperwork?
valid, or, you know what I mean? If we're
No,
gonna
but
then
at least we
proceed.
can take a look and see what's
Right.
been done
That's
and what
true,
we
too.
want.
Kind of
Right.
big environmental,
Environmental impact?
Environmental
Environmental impact,
yes,
was that ever
that's
done?
it, yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
know,
remember
because
it
you were on the
being-
committee,
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I'm
I don't
asking.
remember it being brought up.
Do we know
Yeah.
where all those reports are?
yeah.
Yeah, we still have all the paperwork from the
Okay.
last, thing.
Can we take a look at those at next meeting?
Sure. There's a lot of stuff, I mean, I'll try to collect, get the stuff that we most
Yeah,
germane, you know. I don't
well,
know.
if there's something on there that says environmental report.
That's what you want, there's 2 of those, okay, maybe it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, and if there's
Yeah.
an engineer's report
Engineer's
already,
report, okay.
I don't know, I mean, nothing's changed, it's not like anything's been built on it, so it should still be good. What I'm thinking, the reason I thought of the engineer's report, obviously, is 'cause we're gonna build, we wanna build something that works now and can be expanded down the line if necessary, and
Mhm.
if it's all one level, it's much easier to be ADA compliant and cheaper, 'cause then we won't have to put in $1 million elevator and all
Mhm.
that other stuff. But we need to know what's the grade, where's the pipe, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's all, so that's why we thought engineer's report for an architect.
I also, you know, one of the things to think about is, the thermal. You know,
Yeah, the
Oh,
geothermal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
To-
actually
to-
part of,
That was
the
part
plan.
of the plan, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for the original,
For the one built at Sleazy.
so,
Yeah.
so maybe we should, if you want, I can come on no, you're not here Saturday,
Exactly,
sorry.
You can make them
Yeah.
work on a Saturday.
This Saturday, 8 AM.
There you go.
Review geothermal.
But that's something
I like
to,
chai lattes.
She's not all her maintenance, this is easy. Right, so that's
No, I
something
mean,
to
that if
consider
it-
when we shop an architect too, if we want that sort of green building.
Yeah,
We would
absolutely.
wanna make sure that's what they do, that they have previous successes in that,
Mhm. And the other thing, I don't know how, you know, this works or anything like that, but, sidewalks, you know, working with the village, working with the county, you know,
Mhm.
to put in, and maybe we need a traffic light somewhere. Those are all thoughts,
Sure.
because if people are gonna walk there,
uh-huh.
then where are they gonna cross? That's
Right.
safe.
We need to cross.
And a sidewalk that is safe
Good
to
thing
walk
you have
on.
it in with the mayor, huh?
I don't know if it's the village, I don't know if it's the county, I don't
It's the
know.
village, actually, the village
Well,
border is north of that.
It's county
intersection.
road though, I don't know
That's
where the
207,
responsibility
207.
lies.
And Craigville's also a county road.
Or is that a state road? I don't know.
No, but I mean,
It
once
runs through
you,
the village,
if
so
you
I-
prefer, I mean, people can cross there and then walk through Salesian to get to the library, or walk along 207, you know,
Well,
on
there is
a
a
safe.
sidewalk, isn't there?
There is, but
Yeah,
it's,
it's a
It's-
slate.
oh,
It's
no,
a
it's
slate
dicey, yeah,
sidewalk.
oh, no, I know.
you can't push a stroller there if you have
No,
a
you
young
can't.
mom taking her kids on a nice day for a walk to the
That's the
library.
other thing too,
It's
there's
it's
already a
really-
parking lot, sort of, past our property, and look, we have our 5 acres, how much of that are we gonna eat up with a parking lot? How much of it are we going to use the municipal parking lot that's already part of the park? You know, that's other things to take into consideration too.
But I was just thinking about that, I wanna
No,
get us
no, I
off
know.
track,
Not at all.
Yeah,
but,
no,
you know.
well, I was just thinking, goals for a new building, these are all good things to keep in the back of our head when the time comes to have somebody take a look at it.
Of course, in most cases, it's the landowner's responsibility for the sidewalk,
Right,
so.
right, but we own,
Regardless if it's
Especially in
being
Goshen.
broken
Yeah, right.
slate sidewalks there, I don't think
Right,
anything can
we
be done,
own-
but on our property,
we own a portion, I don't actually know if we own on the other side of the fence. We don't, do we? I don't actually know, that's something we should find out.
property
No,
lines.
this- Right, where the
Yeah.
property line is, it might end at the fence, and then that's the village's responsibility, that sidewalk. I don't know.
It's something to think about in the
It
future.
is, and it's an
20 feet
important
from the center line of
consideration,
the
you're
road.
right.
The what?
20 feet from the center line of the road is normal, what the town owns. Which way?
But the sidewalk is, it's, right,
I mean, if it's the sidewalk right in front of the library, you know,
Right, then
here,
that's
now
fine.
we're responsible for that sidewalk.
Sure, sure,
So, but then the rest of it, who's it, you know,
that belongs
to the village, no?
Joint rec.
Yeah, or village and town.
Yeah, that belongs to the rest of the park, right?
Mhm.
They'll be happy to hear. We want you to take it back, I know.
Well, one of the things too is that when we discuss it, we're gonna have to make that opening wider, which would
Sure.
which would mean changing the fence anyway, cutting away more of the fence.
Yeah.
Making it 2 lanes instead of just the one that it is
shame.
now.
We gotta cut part of that fence away, darn.
But,
Oh, darn.
yeah, it's a whole
Yeah, and
layout
there's
that's
gonna
gotta
have
be
to be a
considered.
right lane to turn, it's gonna be fun.
But this is why we're gonna have professionals advising us.
That's right, and this is why we need engineers and architects and people who've actually done this for other libraries, because that's not what we do for a living.
Not I.
But until January 2015, we don't really have the money freed up for this,
or
exactly.
we have to
We have to.
do a lot of work beforehand.
No, we do, absolutely, but I'm just saying as far as, January 2015, we free up some money to do this, so we don't have to like now cannibalize other parts of our budget in order to pay for these things. We do have a date, you know,
Yeah.
February 1st, we have $8,500 and we can hit the ground running then.
And the reality too is, we really can talk about it, but can't do anything until the end of that fiscal year, because that's only 40 or 50, more than 50 grand.
Oh, no, of course
in the
not.
time. So
It's
it
not,
really,
but the
goes
one
by the time it
architect,
accumulates, yeah.
the architect that we had who looked at the Quattrini building with us and looked at the 1887 building and looked at the,
Hupsher.
property.
Hupsher.
No,
Paul-
I'm sorry.
Hupsher is the
No,
president
no.
of
Is that
RCLF.
Paul Mays?
No,
Yes, Paul Mays.
Paul Mays, that's what I meant.
His
Yeah.
whole thing to write up a bunch of different things for us was under 20.
It's 14.
Yeah, 14 or, I think it was 14 just for Salesian, and if we added reworking this Quattrini building was another couple of grand, and I forget how, but all told, it was under 20.
The reason we went with him is because he was the one for the Warwick
Warwick
Public Library,
Library,
which
and he did a beautiful
I've
job.
been to see, I know Jim has. Has anybody else
Yeah,
been to see, you've seen it?
oh, yeah,
What did you think?
lovely.
Yeah.
But they also had help from whoever put in the housing development there.
Well, they were given the land.
They were
They
given
were given the
land
land.
by
We
the,
have the,
I
I
we're
thought
we're
they
gonna have the
also
land.
contributed
We're gonna
to
own it,
the
yeah.
building costs, but I might be wrong.
I don't know.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I
I
think it
don't
was
think
just
so,
the
I think it
land.
was just the land, and that's
Yeah.
a big expense, so.
But they got a lot for less than $10 million, I believe it was $9 million.
I think you're right.
18,000 square feet,
Yeah.
so imagine
So,
that.
I mean,
You have an office.
but,
Well, conference room.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
hard, having a conversation with the public about why we need to do this is where we're at right now. What we're going to do, we can't really have that conversation until we have professionals give us, you know, so people have something to look at, that we're actually gonna build this.
Mhm.
Now, this is really what we're gonna build if you all say yes, instead of.
Well, we've begun to put the thoughts out there.
Yeah, people
We certainly-
understand, you know, people
Yeah.
know how it is getting up and down the stairs, and the
Mhm.
thought occurs to them when they have a stroller, oh geez, I'm glad I'm not in a wheelchair, you know? And a lot of other things.
So but what I'm saying, it's not gonna be a new,
No, it
brand
isn't,
new
and it's-
idea arrived from Mars, that people know that this is
Right.
something that, you know, 'cause we said it in the budget write-up, that,
Right, we did.
you know, it's a 100-year-old building, it needs repairs, and while we, you know, we wanna move to a new space.
Right. So,
We have to do that right.
right, we have to do it.
Because the last go around, we were at least 6 months out talking to the community. And we all know the outcome. We have to do it
The
right.
big about that was the price tag.
Well,
I think
that
it's
turned
more
out-
than the
more
price
than just the
tag.
price
More than
tag.
the
It
price
was
tag.
more
People
than the
latched
price
on
tag.
to
It
having
was-
coffee.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
it was,
they didn't
some of
understand
the
what
price
we were trying to
tag
do.
was sticker shock, and then when people looked at, well, why is it this expensive? Oh, we have a coffee shop, and that seemed extraneous, and the
So-
fireplace seemed extraneous.
It was a
and
bad sales
People were,
pitch.
yeah, it was not a good, and they weren't entirely wrong, you know? There's nothing says we can't have, I think we need a room for the Historical Society, we need a room for the Friends to have a book sale like Thrall has. Thrall has a bookstore for the
Right.
Friends, that's brilliant, and it brings in revenue every single day instead of having a shed out back full of books. People bring books to donate, we can't take them, we have no room for them, we need a place for that. And Thrall, every single day takes in books, and every single day sells books, and that would be fantastic for the Friends if we could do something like that. This kind of thing wasn't part of the other, library, and it came off as a little too,
I
high-end.
wouldn't want a coffee shop in the library, takes
I don't
away
think-
business from downtown.
Right, that's how I found, that's
Well,
how a lot of
actually,
people
but
felt
no,
about it.
but see, that's what people don't understand. It would be a business from downtown.
That we would give
that
a
would be
concession to.
doing the concession. It wasn't gonna be our own, somebody
And-
from
and-
staff
Right.
serving coffee.
Right, but,
And
it
how does that
became-
make-
business?
but it became a sticking
A
point.
rotating, on a rotating basis,
Yeah.
different businesses,
Yeah.
or?
So,
I don't- okay.
Anyway,
So
it
they
became
use
a
that,
sticking
so
point,
they use that.
but anyway.
now, last meeting, I thought we were all tasked to come up with the steps we thought necessary to get to this point.
Yes, that's why I started talking about
Okay.
getting
And segue.
segment.
Towards that effort, I've put together notes.
And I thought it was very good. Read it today.
Thank you.
Sounds good, sir.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, we have to just go through and keep thinking about, yes, the process, because it's a daunting process. And, you know, I just keep thinking of things as I, you know, put thought behind this that we need to plan for, consider. So,
I'll look at this book for a second, 'cause I think,
so these are just my 2 cents on the process that I thought through. And
Right, this is, part of the reason to hire a guy who specifically builds libraries, because that's, these are considerations for every library, not just ours, so that would be already on his plate, you know what I mean? I'm not saying this is terrific, I'm just saying that,
Well, we don't have to wait for somebody. There's
no,
things
no,
we
we
can
don't.
do now.
No, right.
And we should be, doing now.
Things
And,
we can be doing now here.
yeah, with our staff, with the director, you know, we we have to show the benefits to our patrons on why we need more space.
Right.
And, you know, Saks do a great sales job, you know, and if we, you know, just thinking one thing, if you look at a similarly sized community and their library, their holdings, how many books they have, and it doesn't have to be exact, but how are we in comparison to these other communities? I mean, that in itself is a good selling point.
I think Jim, I think photographs would be helpful too. Photographs of that crowded study space
Everything we
upstairs
could throw out.
compared to a library that has the elbow room you need to actually work. That
Do we have-
people would bring.
Do we have 50% of the books that the usual library has for our, this
Yeah.
similarly
Okay.
sized community?
Mhm.
If we should keep track of, you know, when we're turning kids and parents and patrons away to our programs, and, you know, to have the staff think about what else they could be doing, or, you know, how they're constrained now and what else they could be doing. So it's just, I thought a good way to think through the process for us to come up with ideas, and, you know, we can come up with some tools for staff to work through, you know, worksheets to get some of the information on the departments and their ideas too, because they're the ones in the trenches, you know. We're just armchair librarians of sorts.
Yeah, right.
So,
But it's also good, I think, to have it be part of the conversation with the patrons, especially for.
I think, no, the thought that came to my mind was, we need to determine what we need. All right, this is the library. We should know what we need. Then we talk to the community.
Oh, no, what I'm
Because-
saying is that Michelle has a group, yes, I would love to do that, but we don't have the room. That's the conversation I'm talking about.
Michelle's staff, though.
No, Michelle and people come in all the time, oh, you know, we were at this library and they were doing X, Y, Z. Yes, but we can't do it here because this is the only room we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? To draw the point back to, the reason we need to move is we're constrained because of the small amount of space we have to work in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah,
saying,
and I
I'm
would
not
think they've
suggesting
gotten
that
a lot
she's
of
like.
those over the years, regardless.
Right, right, but I mean, that's all part of the conversation
So-
that you're having with the public. It drives the point home, I think, a little more.
And we do have to think, you know, we are the Historical Society as well. We do have to think about that part of the
Absolutely.
library. I mean,
Absolutely.
there
And we
have been some people in the past who didn't want to deal with Historical Society. But that's
But
part of
that's
our
gone
name,
now.
that's us. And we saw a lot of, you know, what benefit we provided to the author on the Orange Blossoms the other day.
Right.
You know, it's a very important part of this library.
It is, and we
So-
should have a separate space, not separate, but within the building, almost like a Goshen Museum kind of historical society.
And you know, they should think about what
Right,
they
and the
need, because we
historical
probably have
society, right.
stuff stored away that, you know, if it's in a drawer, nobody's ever gonna see it.
Right, we do have lots of stuff
So-
that's just not.
Think
not
about how we
Right,
can
so I mean,
display.
if we have beautiful, things to display, we would need a display case, we need an alarm system, and that does all these other things we need.
Sure.
Right.
You know, here's another idea which we really haven't talked about. Rather than visualize a standalone library all by itself, either in town or out on the land, some communities are combining the library with other types of buildings that will meet other needs, community centers be one of the best examples.
Right.
Up in Fairport, they have a wonderful community center, and then, you know, just part of it, there's the library. And people that are going in to use the gym, and, you know, when they're done, they may swing by and check out a book and so on. There's a coffee shop. There are fields where there's like tracks and soccer leagues and things. And
It
it's
would be
just,
wonderful for a leisure
and
park.
it's
Well,
right,
yeah.
it's sitting right there, you know, adjoining, abutting land that's the Joint Rec
Yeah.
Commission. I mean, it almost seems like it's an invitation. Maybe we should, if you do that, then when it comes time for a vote, you've got the whole community. If we want this community center, and we don't want to just build a library, we want to have something there in
Yeah.
addition to a library.
It's a great idea.
But in working with the joint rec perhaps, and
Mhm.
Right.
future vision.
Sure.
And we probably don't need all 5 acres to,
No,
you know,
we
so,
probably
you know, in a time like that, we might be able to, you know, they can get a ball field out of it as well, because we don't need it.
Well, that's what
We have
they
some
should be
space
trying
to
to do.
We share
Yeah.
parking spaces
Trying to allow
and
that.
parking lots and.
Sure.
No, I my passion was with the Katrini building.
Yeah, we knew that.
That's not gonna happen. He has leased the lower part of it.
Yes.
So it's not part of the picture. I don't know of any other building.
Okay.
Supermarket, I hope.
To a grocery.
No, I wouldn't, I plan on my move.
Right.
But
Another
he
lawyer.
mentioned it. He mentioned it the other day.
Another lawyer.
Another-
Thank
is it
God.
another
Is it
lawyer?
another lawyer?
I don't know. What do I know?
No,
I'm hoping
we
for
got-
I'm hoping for CVS aides. Simple things.
No.
Simple things.
So I don't know about how everybody else feels, but I think Salesian is the only option we have. We've looked at buildings.
We have. There's
And,
nothing else.
My number one has always been Salesian.
I know
because
where
of-
your heart is.
Well, you know
because
what's
of
good about
always.
it is that we can do what we need to do the way we need it instead of trying to make something else fit
Right,
for us.
yeah.
And
It's
and
just-
that's how this building was built. It was built to be a library. So if
And
we
that's the
start-
legacy we
Right.
need to pass on, because
Right,
that's the
and
legacy
it
left
doesn't
to us.
have to be enormous.
Yeah.
It can start this big and then 10 years
Modular.
become that big
And it
or
could be
whatever.
that in 5 years after, you know, or a couple of years after the library
Then it
is
becomes
built,
a-
then we put in, you know, a community center.
And we,
You know,
yeah.
those,
It
I
could
think
be
it would
phase
work
one
better
of
if
this,
we
phase
were
of
done
that.
Yeah.
in parallel,
Joint venture.
a joint
Yeah.
venture. Is there, for all we know, the Joint Rec Commission sits around saying, I wish we had a community center.
Yeah.
No, they just wish we had money. That's
Yeah,
what they
that's
say.
really what
I
it
wish
is.
we had money.
We wish
Because
we
they
had
can't do
money.
anything.
If you have a
they have
vision,
nothing. Yeah.
If you have a vision,
would love
then
it.
people start to rally around and they say, well, that's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, if we
$100
have,
more a year on my house.
Right.
Boy, if I got a community center and a library,
If there was someplace the kids could go that didn't cost me an arm and a leg, that would be lovely.
They just got a bathroom over there. It took years for that.
It's progress.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, baby steps. We gotta
I'd like to,
applaud everything,
I'd
you
like
know?
to have a miniature version of, the botanical gardens myself.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
how about a
For now,
community
you
garden where
stick it
people
in.
could grow vegetables?
There you go, whole green, whole farmer's market. Can I just ask a quick question, though, just thinking about it, could we as a board make a decision that that's going to be the future home of the public library? Just hypothetical, could we make that decision as a board?
Yeah, that's why
At
they
the
open.
land, okay?
Yeah.
I
At the
stand
land.
done a
I'd
long
like
time
that.
ago.
I think that was
But,
the
you know,
decision made when they bought the land.
so it's future, but we could actually put a sign there that
There
says
is a
the
sign.
There is
future
a sign
home.
There is a sign there.
There's already a sign
The
there.
I
future
look at
home
it
of the-
every time I
Yeah,
drive by.
I have
I'm
never
like,
seen-
someday,
Yeah,
I
someday.
have never seen the sign and I walk up there.
There's
Yeah.
a sign
It's
on
a-
the
Where
land.
is the
It's
sign?
Facing
on the
207.
fence.
It's on the
Yeah,
fence.
facing 207 on the
You know,
On
the
the
entrance
fence.
to Salesian that we have.
So it says the future home of the
Yeah.
Goshen
Yeah.
Public
There's
Library.
even a
Really?
picture of a library.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We should, maybe throw community center on there now.
It was difficult to get.
And I like the
approval
facade of that
from the
library
town
to look like the
put that
facade
sign
of
up.
this library.
Yeah,
Really?
It's
yeah.
like a little nondescript sign, but that was the most, we had to negotiate that.
Oh, my heavens.
So,
That's
yeah,
never,
so the-
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright.
it took them months to determine whether to put the finials on that fence, and it cost them over $20,000. So they don't move through, it's two entities, they don't move too quickly.
So throwing a third entity like a library in there means we're never getting a community center. We could.
Think on our
No,
own.
but
Well,
I mean,
we
there
should
are-
have discussion.
There are many groups that can, I mean, I'm thinking, you know, the Friends, one of the boxes to check are your interests, and one is gardening, you know.
Yeah,
You have 5 acres, go at it,
yeah, right.
you know.
There you
So-
go. We could have a
The-
gardening club that takes care of our landscaping for us.
Oh, we could plant things that we could sell.
I know, it's farm country,
Yeah.
and I think asking the farmers to contribute to a library that is now gonna grow produce and compete with them is a
No,
bad
no,
idea.
no.
Yeah.
No,
We could
places
have
where,
a-
places where we can, where Michelle can take those little ones under a tree
That's
and go
right,
read a
and-
book.
Right, go read a book under a tree,
You know,
or
that
have a
was,
bunch of little
that was
kids
my always,
and-
my
Yeah.
concern with the Quattrini building,
Yeah.
that there was, where's the green space? There
Yeah,
was
yeah.
none,
I know.
so.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like it.
So, I mean, we all have wonderful ideas. I like the
We do.
facade of the new library to look like the facade of this library. I'm just saying it now. Just to pay homage to our past.
We'll take the cupola over.
There you go. We'll take
We'll
a
take the
cupola.
whole-
We'll what? We'll take
If you spend all that money fixing it, that cupola's coming with it.
Put it right out front.
That's right.
Instead
You
of
can
save the
go-
cupola, they remove the cupola.
And the bats.
There you
Take
go,
the
then we
bats.
take the
There we
bat, the
go.
cupola.
The columns out front. I'm gonna gut this building when we move.
Yeah, take the copper and all.
All righty then.
A light moment to be.
Okay.
But
So-
I'm sorry.
No.
I think we should set up, you know, whether it's certain amount of time each meeting, or set up a little committee.
Okay.
But, you know, it's gonna be an ongoing discussion in the
Well,
next
that's
year
what-
and a half.
So this
and
is the,
we should
our
really
plan
start.
with our goal toward the new building. Obviously, we're paying off the loan, that's already in motion, doesn't require any further action from us, that's already in the budget, and it's already taken care of. So, what do we do next? What else should be on here, the way we have these other things on? We pay off the loan, and then between now and the payoff date, what do you wanna do?
I think, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I think part of maybe the grant writer that we look into, you know, could also look into, are there any grants out there that we can
Toward the new building?
toward a new building? That
There
could be part
definitely
of that.
aren't. I don't know if you brought it up, but I've seen in the newspaper, I have it at home on the table, some library in the area.
Pike County,
What's it, Pike County?
$2.3 million.
Mhm.
They got a grant?
Part of
Part
it
of
was
it.
granted,
Yeah.
but Pennsylvania as a state the state itself gives grants to municipalities building new libraries that are environmentally, technologically, and
Right.
I don't know that in New York State we have that.
But
I
there
was
there
gonna
there are
say there-
construction grants in
there's
New York State.
probably-
Okay, so.
Right, there's probably green construction grants as well, I was gonna say too.
And it could
That
be,
might be
yeah,
another
it could be,
angle for you.
public and private, you know.
Sure.
Do we also wanna look into, having a fund, you know, library fund, fundraising?
Mhm.
You know, people in the community making contributions toward a new building in exchange for, you know, naming the reading room in
We-
name of,
This is where we got into, so it's not a problem, but it gets very ugly very fast. No, seriously, I'll give you $1,000 if I can name something after my dog, you know, well, that's great, but then we get into, well, that's
Hmm.
not a big enough thing.
the
and
bricks,
it's like,
you know.
I think it's better we could sell paving blocks for $100 or something
Yeah.
like that, like they did with the
But,
walkway.
yeah, that
But
kind of
I think
thing.
that sort of a thing, and I don't think we're allowed to do that as a board. I think that's what the Friends is for, the Friends are for.
We
The
did.
Friends
To
are,
fundraise?
It was
The capital
done.
campaign.
the capital
Yeah.
campaign is not, but the board can't do it.
Right.
The
The
board,
capital
we're not
campaign
allowed.
was
Yes,
authorized by
but
the
they did
board.
lots of things. Authorized and active are two different things. If the board gives you their blessing and you go right ahead and have a capital campaign, fine. The board is not supposed to, as a board, do fundraising. We're not allowed to do it. That's why we have a Friends of the Library.
Whether
because
it's
that's
done-
their
I
job.
had to give them back.
And lots of other things were done in the
Whatever
past
they-
that we
whatever
should
they
not have
did.
done.
But
They had
one
to give
one
them
thing
back
that,
when I got
you know,
it
it,
back.
I think it's necessary, and it was done last time, for the fundraising part of it. There was architectural drawings,
Yeah.
you know, there was something that people could look at, that would be what they would be contributing towards. And I
Right.
think that's important too.
Right, which is what I think we should be our focus once the loan is paid off, because that
No,
frees us-
before then. No, I mean, okay. I think we gotta get through everything. We gotta figure out what we need in a library and come up with an architectural rendering
Here's what I'm,
before the loan is paid off.
Well,
Because it's gonna take a while for this.
it's gonna take a while for quite a few, the loan's gonna be paid off in 17 months, 18 months. And, my thinking is that between now and then, as soon as the loan's paid off, we hire the architect. As soon as because then we have the money to pay him. We don't have
Well, how much are we talking about?
$20,000.
For an architectural drawing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, because he isn't gonna just doodle something, it's going to be either I am designing your library,
Alright.
this is how they got in trouble last time, okay? And then we got sued by the architect, and then we paid him off for
Whatever the
years.
deal was,
I
I
think
don't know.
before the architectural drawings, we need to do an environmental impact first.
Right, we have, and we may already have, and we may already have the engineer's report, and this is all stuff,
If
this
it's
is what
not-
I'm thinking, if we
yeah.
have everything in line, here's what we want, here's what we want included in our new library, here's what we're looking to do, here, Mr. Architect, do it for us, and then that summer or something, we've got our architectural drawing, we have our plans, and then however long
We
it
sell
takes
it.
us, right, once we have that and we own it and it's ours, and it's all, then from there on, nothing says we have to do that in 6 months' time, nothing, you know what I mean? It's,
I say, you know, let's start with looking at, you know,
What we
looking at
already
the,
have.
what we already have,
right,
see that and make sure it's still valid in terms of date, I don't know.
right.
These things are dated, I mean, whether there are pipes buried there, unless
Yeah,
we've
I don't
removed
think-
them, they're still there.
Right.
What's that gonna cost to get the land ready
Mhm.
before we have architectural drawings, and
Right.
then,
But they have nothing to do with each other. Hey,
but the
John,
thing is money.
I understand about the
that's-
money part. Maybe we should plan on getting money earlier by budgeting money. Because, you know, with that timetable of January 2015 is when we pay off the loan, where we couldn't get any of these things done before then, and it would probably take 6 months at least to do that. We're talking probably another year unless we hold another,
Right.
special election. And we're just placing it out, 3 years, whatever, in the future, that we can move faster than that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
this has
it's-
been
it's
going on
not
for
a-
what?
Yes,
7
and it's
years,
been
or-
very poorly received. And
It was
moved-
it was done poorly. That's
Yes,
why.
and it was poorly received, which created an injury that's taking a while to heal. And you don't wanna be beaten on that, we really don't. We wanna take our time
Well,
with
we
it.
have plenty of time. We have plenty of time if we're not gonna put it up for a vote till 2015.
Oh, it might be later than 2015.
I'm just saying,
We're
just
talking
saying.
2016, 2017 before this goes up for a vote.
Why would we wait so long?
Because half the
I
town
thought we
is
needed a new
selling their
library now.
houses, and we needed a new library 10, 15 years ago. That's when we needed a new library 20 years ago.
Yeah, but
But
you know
we
what?
don't have one, and the
We're
thing
not
is,
doing our jobs if we don't move towards that
and if
sooner.
we push too far, we push too fast, we push too hard, they push back. You don't understand, after the last
understand.
vote, no.
I was there.
After the last vote, there was a move to see if there was legal action that could be taken against the board for purchasing the land the way it was purchased, for moving the way they did. There was a furious
I
bunch of
understand
people.
what happened before.
Yes, no,
We're
but
not
no,
doing
no.
anything like that.
No, we're not, but the point is, those people are still out there, those people still don't entirely trust us,
I don't-
and any move that's made too fast, that looks shady, is going to create the same reaction again.
I don't consider after the first time this happened, 10 years being a fast move.
Well, it was 2008 that it got voted down, so it's 5 years now. So we're talking maybe 10 years after that fails, we're in a new library.
They did it wrong.
They did it wrong.
We could do
And
it
here's
right.
the thing, you do something wrong, it creates a problem that has to be dealt with. It creates bad feelings, it creates distrust, it creates all sorts of things. We have to not only do this right, we have to be as transparent and gentle about it as possible, or we're not going to get the result we're after. And then what do we do if this fails twice?
We also just went
We
to the,
did
we're also just going to the public for an extra $25,000.
To fix the roof.
$25,000,
Current
chump
building.
change.
Yeah, $25,000 is
Yeah,
change.
it's chump change.
But
You
you know what?
consider
Some
all the
people in
other
the community
budgets
might
people
not
have to deal
consider
with.
it
That's not
chump
the point.
change.
Oh,
It's
Some
chump
people
change.
may not consider it chump
No, that's
change.
right.
I
When people
don't
look at
think-
$25,000, they don't look at it as a portion of our budget, they look at it as a portion of their own. The first thing people want to know is, what's this going to cost me? Which is why on our website, and we put, it's only $7 more a year to pass this budget and to put the new roof on this building. It's only $7 more a year. You know, that's breakfast for one. That's how much it's going to
Plus
cost.
they look at it, well, you've just repaired this building, you can stay here a little longer.
It's the other thing too, but part of the reason we're
Well,
repairing the
we
building
need
is
to.
to stay here
Yeah,
a little longer.
exactly. Well, I mean, that's
So
what I'm
we
saying,
can-
but that's
so
the
we
other
can
point of view,
maintain
too.
it and sell it, you know, we made that point pretty clear too.
Yeah.
But people look at that and they think, geez, I only make $35,000 a year, $25,000 is a lot of money. To them, $25,000 is enormous. The median income in the country, the median income in this country is $50,000.
$1.
51 and change.
$1.
It doesn't matter what it is to them, they look at the amount, and this, you want 25, and the fire department wants this, and I know that my water bill is going up, and Thursday, I'm like bracing myself for a meeting with the town, because who knows what the sewer charges are now gonna be. And all of this other stuff is pulling at everybody. Our $25,000 is one thing in a list of things what the town and the village and the fire department and everybody else is pulling at them.
So why would we ever put a new library before the voters?
We put a new
What's
library.
gonna change? It just means we have to work harder and do a better sales job.
And we have to
Better
take our
get what's
time
done.
about it. You are trying
And
to
we
rush
certainly
it.
are taking our time.
Right, because that's what you have to
Been
do.
talking about it for over 2
It
years.
takes as long as it takes, and it's going to take longer than this. And if we rush it, we get bad
Right.
product and we piss people off.
We don't get bad product. We have 1.5 years to plan for this.
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
Gotcha.
I think that there's two things here. One is the timing, and the other is the actual process of getting the library. So many towns have gone through this process. It's like we're trying to invent the wheel. We're creating our own step-by-step process. We don't need to do that.
No, we don't.
It's been done. The architect that
Paul
Paul,
Mays, yeah.
what was it
Paul
called?
Mays.
Paul Mays.
Paul Mays. He's been through this. He can reach into a file and pull out, this is the steps.
Mhm.
This is the responsibility of the staff. This is the responsibility of the board. This is the responsibility of the architect.
Right.
This is the timetable.
Mhm.
And so, all of that is out there. The information is there.
Mhm.
And we have to decide when we're going to take advantage of it. The other thing is the timing of the project. And I think if you just look at Goshen, everything's kind of on hold until the county building issue is resolved. When they get that resolved and the people have come back
Mhm.
and the restaurants are busy and the stores are opening up again, I think people, and nationally, hopefully the economy will continue to slowly improve. I think then people will start to say, okay, maybe we can start thinking about additional stuff.
Right.
And in my mind, we're talking 3, 4, 5 years before
Easily.
that's the community feeling about
Pitiful.
the,
Pitiful.
well, but it's the
We're-
reality, I think.
But
It
we're
is
we're
reality,
supposed to
though.
be doing what's right for this library.
But
Yes,
And
but
we're
here's-
not.
It's
But
not
we
just
can't
our
slam the
decision.
community, we can't slam the community, I mean, and we are taking steps.
Right.
You know, we're gonna be
Right.
looking at environmental, we're gonna be paying the
Right.
land.
No, we're
I
not
mean, if
doing
people
paying the
say,
land. That's the only thing we're doing.
No, that's the other
That's
thing
the only
now.
thing we're doing.
That land is a splinter. It absolutely is. It is a thing that aggravated a lot of people. There were, like I said, there was a group who wanted to sue the library. They were trying to see if we could get board members arrested. Not kidding, for the purchase of that land. This is how angry people were. If that land is still out there, still not paid off, and still hanging out there, that's an issue. That's a problem. Once the land is paid off, then that issue goes away. That calms down. That's, the land is paid, we don't have to deal with it anymore. It's taken care of. Do you understand where I'm
I
coming
agree.
from?
And we're
Alright.
looking at, and we're gonna look to build a building that is, that does not cost $20 million. A
Right,
building
and
that
we're
is,
not-
I
a building-
agree.
No,
I
you're
agree,
right.
but we can't sit on our hands.
We're not
We gotta-
sitting on our hands.
No, we are sitting on our hands. We've not really done anything towards this. How long I've been on this board? What, 3 years now? And we've gone through this process, I think, in the first year, and we were looking at buildings.
I don't think we
And we did nothing except look and talk a little bit, but
We
we
looked
have.
because it was available. We
Yeah,
looked
there
to
were
see what the
opportunities
offer.
there. We had to look at
Right,
them.
we looked because that's when the opportunity arose, not because we thought it was a great idea to move then and there.
Yeah.
We
Well, I
moved-
didn't either,
No.
especially the car dealership.
Whatever, but
and-
the opportunity arose when it arose, that's why we went and looked, not because we were looking for something. But, hey, we have a building here we could rent to you, here we have a building we can give you, here's a building we can sell you. We have to go and look at it. That's part of our due diligence as the board, we have to go and look at the alternatives. None of them are really workable. The
Right.
only really workable solution is to build a modest-sized library that can be expanded over time on land that we will pay off in a year and a half.
and that
We
we
don't
can
even
prove
know
to
what
the
we
community
want
that
yet.
we have been fiscally responsible in paying,
That's
in
right.
paying off
it
that
off
land.
without having
That's,
to.
that's
That's a huge
a check
deal.
on our column.
It's
You know,
absolutely a
the
big
fact that
deal.
the fact that we didn't go to the community, I mean, do I want a new library? 3 years ago,
Yeah.
I wanted a new library. Were we, was the community in a fiscally you know, sound place for us to go to them and say, you know, we need, even if it was less than $10 million, were we in that position as a community, as a country, to do that? No, we weren't, and that was part of our discussion, that we were going to wait until the economy, correct me if I'm wrong,
No,
some of
no,
you were here,
exactly
Right.
that, you know, that we would wait until the economy showed
Started
some
to
signs
generate,
of,
yeah.
you know, that the patient was going to live.
Mhm.
And it's showing signs that it's going to, I'm not saying we're going to build this library in 2015. All I'm saying is we have to have real discussion, put together a real plan, come up with the real requirements and why we need a new library. And I think we can budget to have an architectural drawing made at some point before 2015,
An architect.
February or whatever.
Where would we get the money in the budget then?
Right, this is
We
just
have-
it. No,
We could budget for it.
No, you budget for out of what? We got shellacked this year
No,
with
no,
an
no,
extra
you
$15,000 for the
State retirement,
state
10,000.
retirement fund that we weren't ready for and we had to arrange for it.
understand.
And our newsletter went through the roof. You can't just, well, we'll budget $20,000. If it isn't there, it isn't there. Now, if we can get the school board
That's
to...
why you plan and you budget for it.
Yeah, thank you. We wrote up a new budget for the year to accommodate the extra massive expenses of the health insurance. In 2014, some really amazing things are going to happen in health insurance, and it's going to cost us a fortune. And the pension is going to cost us a fortune. And we have to make allowances for that. We've already done that in our budget, but we had to do it within certain parameters. We don't have $20,000 just sitting there. If we can get the school board to do what they're supposed to and pay us on July 1st, we might have a little more elbow room come this summer.
There you go.
But there's nothing saying they're going to cooperate, and there's nothing saying that's not going to be a fight.
All I'm saying.
And then
we
that's going to
have-
cost us a lawyer.
We have to go through the process.
We do.
And not just talk
do.
once in a while and
Yeah.
have nothing to show for it except on video. We have to come up with and work with Matt and the staff and come up with something that is used to determine our requirements of what we need in the library. And I hope we have everything together so we can then talk to an architect and maybe find some funds somehow to create an architectural drawing that we could then use for fundraising in some manner and for moving forward with this.
A couple of questions. Have you read Robert Hupcher's?
I've read-
Have you skimmed through it?
Parts of it,
And
yeah.
it looks somewhat helpful?
It's helpful, definitely.
And you're going to read it
I
next,
understand.
and you're going to pass it on after that. So we
Yes,
can,
I will.
hopefully we'll all be able to peruse it at least, if not read it thoroughly. At a soon but later date, we can discuss what's in the manual. We can bring back Paul Mays at that point and talk to it. It doesn't need to be 2015 to bring him back to discuss what the steps, the quick list for the steps should be. But yeah, I agree that we should be working towards it so that when 2016 comes, I mean, if we need $40,000 in the 2015 fiscal year, okay, that money's already spent. But let's say 2016, we're going to have the whole amount that we would have paid towards land to put towards architectural fees and what have you. It doesn't matter the timing, month by month timing, okay? That'll come to light as we go. But what I'm saying is, for the short term, for the next quarter, let's say, we read this, we can schedule some time with Paul Mays and bring him in and see if he has read this and what he feels should be the steps so that we can actually start slating out what we want in a library. Do we want, you know, what the layout should be? Do we want to plan for the rest of the park, or should we do it alone? You know, the things that we've brought up so far tonight, we'll discuss with him, maybe with Robert Hupcher as well, likely with Robert Hupcher as well, and we'll have to approach the town and the Joint Rec after that as well to see how we can work together towards using Salesian. And what the status of Salesian is going to be in terms of what's left and the land that used to have buildings on it, you know, that can become park space for them, you know. Well, yeah, it's separate, but what I'm saying is we talked about, oh, we don't need all 5 acres. Well, if we need, I don't know, let's say we want an acre for parking lots. Well, we're going to have to plan out with the town, because if they're going to want to put parks in the rest of the town, we don't need to worry about making parks for the rest of it. But separate aside, we can plan out just making contact, just reading this information and making contact with Paul Mays would be good first steps.
So why don't we, okay, we have goal for the new building, we have the pay off the loan for 2015. For the next meeting, we're going to have the engineer's report if we still have one, and an environmental impact study if we have one, and if not, then we will know whether or not we have one, okay? Then how about we have Paul Mays come at the end of the summer? Does that sound like enough time for everyone to have gone over this book? I mean, I realize we have a lot of teachers here who have end-of-year stuff that's going to eat up your life for the next few weeks. So if we, over the summer, we have him come in August for our August meeting. Does that sound good for everybody? What do you think? Do you think
When
we
is
can
the
do
August
this?
What day is
meeting?
that?
Yeah, what day?
What date is our August meeting, Carol? Do you know off the top of your head?
Does anybody have a calendar on their phones that can pop
I
up
don't think I
August?
have it.
I do, if you just give me a second.
Let's see who does it faster.
I have it on my phone.
Okay, let's see.
It's
May
all
is the
you
13th,
people.
June, August is what? The,
8th month.
okay, no,
August
thank you.
would be the-
It would be the 5th or
It'd
the
be the
12th?
12th.
The
The
12th,
12th.
okay, so August 12th.
Yeah.
Are you on vacation, dear? So,
I have an extremely important family commitment.
On August 12th?
darn.
It's the following weekend, so my head will not be.
September 9th.
My child is getting married, so.
Oh, congratulations, very nice. So
That is an
September 9th.
extremely important family
That
event.
is, that's
Wonderful.
extremely important.
Or we're
So
talking
you-
about scheduling Paul Mays, we can see what his
So,
schedule is
right,
as
we
well.
can see what his schedule
Maybe
is
the
as
week
well.
prior.
So September 9th would be the next meeting.
Or if we want to make it August 5th.
We could also
we
do a
can
work session
Still a work
meeting.
session.
Yes.
Right, so why don't we,
Really too much
so
to do.
somewhere in August, September, we find a Monday evening that works for Paul Mays, let's do it that way. And then if it coincides with our meeting, great, if not, then we will have a special work session just to hang out and talk to Paul Mays about the process of doing this. In the meantime, we each get a chance to look through and read this book and come up with the questions we think we need to ask him. And he'll tell us, you're getting ahead of yourselves, or, oh, that's brilliant, or, right? Does this sound good to everybody?
Well, let's not defer this to Paul Mays, where we can actually think through this process and work with the staff and
Why
work
are we
with Matt.
reinventing the wheel? when
We're
this
not
is what it is?
reinventing,
what-
this is not rocket science.
No, it isn't,
It
but
is
this is
not.
what
It's
Paul
more
Mays does
complicated
for a
than
Did
living.
that, yeah.
I don't plan out the
It's
plumbing in
perfect
my
rocket
house, I
science.
call a plumber and
He's
have
gonna
him come
come
and take
back
care
to
of
us
it.
and say, well, you need to talk to your people, you need to look at your
Right, we
resources.
already,
But he's
We
gonna-
could do that
But
now.
maybe he can meet with our people and he can guide discussion too.
right, and
Why
maybe,
wouldn't we do that?
because this is what he
Why
does.
can't we
That's
talk
for a
to-
living.
Because
You know?
I don't do my mechanic's job, and I don't do my
No, you
plumber's
talk
job,
to the
so I'm
people
not
that
going to do
do.
my architect's job. So he will come here and let us know
We're
where the
talking
lines are drawn.
requirements. We're talking
We're talking the first conversation
What
with
do
an
we want in
architect.
the library?
So why don't you read that book, and sometime in August or September, we have a meeting with Mr. Mays, and we pick his brain.
I believe also, I don't, I'm trying to remember back when we were first discussing,
Yeah.
you know, our contacts with him, that he conducts
He does.
focus groups
He's
Yes.
great
with
at
the
that.
staff
He does
and the
all of that.
community.
He does all of that stuff. He's very good, which is why
We're not with
we went
we're
to-
not dealing with the community at this point.
No,
we're
but that's
not,
something
but
that he
eventually
does.
we
Well,
will.
that's something
Could
for
we put out
2016.
RFPs,
rather.
requests for proposals for like engineering? Can we start budgeting that way, like, all right, we're gonna have this all paid off, how much will we need to pay for the engineer? Like, we can get those prices, so then we can figure out the month
Right.
of saving the mortgage. Okay, we'll be able to do this up front with 3 months worth of mortgage payments that we
Right.
would have been paying
We're gonna find out
24,000.
whether, next meeting, we're gonna know whether or not we even have to do that.
So the basic route, we could hear from that gentleman, you're talking about Phil Mays, is it?
Paul
That-
Mays.
Okay,
Paul Mays.
Paul Mays, of all these things that you need to do before you bring it to the voters, this is how much it's gonna cost, and then we can, you know, I think that would give you more of
Right.
a stronger timeline. I agree with you, you should start now, but
But we're not gonna
we're
start
gonna,
now.
we
Well, we
need to
are.
know
No,
exactly.
No, we're not gonna
Well,
start now.
we're starting with the
deferring
project.
this.
Start
We're
early.
deferring
Why
this.
would
Starting
we
with the
not
business
look
plan.
at this? That's a start.
Yeah.
It is
Why
a
is
start.
that
It's
not a
absolutely
start?
You think
Sorry.
this is the beginning? That is something we've been working on for 3 years.
Yes, and
And
this
we've
is new
kept
material, and we're gonna need
deferring. And we'll
I-
talk about it now and then.
Does
Nobody
anyone feel
talks about it.
qualified to make a decision about this
What
tonight besides
decision?
you?
What decision?
We all wanna read that first, and
That's
we're all
part of
gonna
it.
talk to the
That's
I think
part
that's
of
the
it.
next step.
Yes, I think
We
it
can
is
only
too.
do pieces at a time.
Right, exactly.
And that's a piece.
Right,
I mean,
and
that's what-
everybody,
what-
we
I
all
mean,
form
We'll
other
talk a
jobs
couple hours
besides
one month, we'll
being
talk
here.
another couple hours another
This
month.
is,
No, we
this is
can-
my
we can-
12th, this is my 12th month on the board, and I'll tell you, we have, this is the first heated conversation we've actually had about this in a year. You know, and I'm looking forward to, you know, more of these discussions, you know, and as we get closer to the mortgage payment, you know, paying
Right.
that off,
Even talking about it
It's
is
just-
saying, sending a message that we're, you know,
Right,
we're planning.
right,
But we're not.
but we
We've
are.
talked about it over the
We are,
years,
but it's a.
and there's nothing we have to show for that. We're no
We
further
don't
along.
have to have
Well,
anything
actually,
to show
we're
for it
down,
beyond
we're
the
down to, it
conversation.
seems like we're down to one option.
We are.
We're shooting
I
for the
think-
land.
Yeah.
Well,
We're shooting up to the
fine,
land.
that's the easy
I think
part.
we have
Get rid of
something
the-
to show
get
for
rid of-
it.
it would've been
All-
easier 3 years
Go
ago.
ahead,
What do
Jim,
we have to
talking.
show?
Go
What we have
ahead.
to show for it is that we have much more community support than we had 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
That we have turned a corner. People don't continually think of the library as crazy people spending millions and millions of dollars foolishly.
Right.
And I think we're building, it's like money in the bank, we're building a trust. We're waiting for the right time to do this. And I think this is the next step.
I do
I'm glad
too.
that you know, brought this up last month, and I think this work that you did is very commendable.
Mhm.
But I think we don't need to invent the wheel. Here is
Well, please invent
the
the
next step for everybody to read it, and then we'll see where we are.
Right.
I just want to make one, I think it's something funny, Jim, when you said turning the corner. When I first took this job, one snowy night, I was out walking with my wife, and I won't name names because I'm on camera, but a prominent community member walked up to me and said, we were talking for a few minutes, and then my wife mentioned, oh, he's the new director of the library. You know the first thing out of his mouth was? He said, so you're the one they handed the keys of the Titanic to.
Yes.
And I was like,
Well, that's
so there
all
you go.
good.
Well,
But that's
you know,
the
at least
prevailing
that's right. We
attitude.
definitely have a certain, reached a certain critical mass of positivity, I think.
We're not yet the good ship lollipop.
No,
we're
but.
not.
we're not.
So it's
We're
somewhere,
still
but like
thinking about
Operation
it.
Petticoat, I
Thanks.
guess. Go ahead, Carol.
Not to get too far off subject, but I noticed that you were making your strategic plan, and I'd like to suggest an item to go on that for next year's vote. I have been on the records as saying many times that I didn't believe that we should ask the public as an exit poll type thing, but
Right.
we have 1 year to think about an exit poll questionnaire type thing.
Along the lines
And
of the
maybe someone
building?
like the Friends or volunteers could be outside and ask people pertinent questions about the new building, how they stand. Now, it would be your only opportunity to have people that are on both sides of the fence
Sure.
to give you, an opinion. And I think we might want to plan to do that during the next election time.
Thank you, Carol. It's an interesting idea.
So it's something to put onto the strategic plan and even talk about what those questions should be. Obviously, a long time from now, but
Okay.
I guess I'd like to ask,
Yeah.
is the board interested in trying to find out if groups like Joint Rec are interested in a community center / library / community center?
No.
I don't think right now, I mean,
No,
I
we
don't
have a
think
hard
that's
enough
the,
sell.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, I think it's a great idea,
It
I
is,
just
but
don't
It's a long,
know.
it's a long term.
It's a long-term thing, I think it's a,
Plan
we
for it.
build here, they build here, and we just mend buildings together or something
No.
like that.
But there is the advantage of you get two groups together pushing for a single project. The project meets needs for both groups.
It does.
It's like,
No.
But at the same
But
time, we
it's
can't
also,
wait
we're
for their
two different
decision though.
municipalities.
Yeah.
We're the school
That's-
district and they're the
town and the village.
and it's very different. Plus, we're looking to, hopefully become a special district library, and that would widen our scope, and those
Mhm.
people don't participate in the joint rack because they're not in the town or the village.
yeah, you could, I can visualize a building and, we as one entity, in effect, lease this portion of it, and they lease the other portion. And we're still separate from a financial perspective.
Yeah, I
We just
get
happen to
you.
lease
We just, it's one
space that
building, we just.
by
hang on it.
coincidence is meeting community needs and library needs.
You-
And
It's, you know, if you,
Can be done, I think.
You gotta understand the makeup, the joint rec, they get funds from the village and the town.
Yeah,
And
it's
they're
very tricky
penny
because,
pinchers.
you know, then what exactly are they going to be interested in building, and what are they going to be doing there, and who are they going to allow to use that space?
right,
The
'cause
school
if we
district
don't-
library allows all district residents to use everything. Joint rec does not.
Yeah.
And they don't get enough money
There are a
as
number
is
of residents,
to do their program.
I included, my
Mhm.
children were never included in joint rec things because they were excluded because we were not part of the town and we were not part of the village. And things that we did take part, that we could take part in, we had to pay extra.
Mhm.
We would have to pay extra fees, and then there were some things we were totally excluded from. Yet flyers are handed out in the school districts to every single kid, take this
Yeah.
home, this is a
Right.
great opportunity, and then, you know, the
But
kids
you
bring it
can't
home and,
participate,
oh,
yeah.
sorry, you can't participate. And I had a huge problem with handing out joint rec stuff in the school district because all school district children are not invited to participate.
Right, so that would
I
create
had a
problem.
very hard time with that.
Right, I think actually, I think it's, long-term, it could be an interesting idea, but I don't think it's the way we want to structure it.
That does make it much more complicated.
It does, it really does complicate things. Okay, I think we've carried on about this enough for one evening. Okay, let's do something definitive.
I like your phrase, carried on.
That was a nice way to put it, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very nice.
Okay, well, you have a journal entry you want us to make?
Yes.
And we have a fine schedule to approve, correct?
Yes.
All right.
The journal entry was to move the $1,000 that's currently in the replacement book line that we don't use anymore to
Right,
the
adult
adult line.
book line. Okay, now, Carol, do I have to word that specially and make a motion and all that?
We need a motion.
Yeah,
That'd
make
be
a
just
motion.
fine.
Okay, so can I have a motion to accept that?
Also move.
Thank you, Jim, a second. Bernie, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Wonderful, it passes, you got your $1,000. Now, we are going to update our fines.
Right.
Yeah, Mary?
Okay, sure. This one's fine. So, there we go. Don't get too involved in all this.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to-
Because the most important thing are the few, you see some, oh, that's too few.
Now, we actually lost money this year in our fines because they got changed. The DVD fines changed from 50 cents to 25 cents. They got changed, so, I said to him before the meeting, you need to change it back. So, the
See, video DVD, 25.
video DVD says 25, we wanna change it back to 50.
It used to be 50 and it was changed.
And it was changed to 25.
That's
I
a
don't
big one.
remember
Did
how
you
that
change
happened.
No,
No.
it was, part of it, when we went from one ILS to another, you'll see this is dated from, this is a while back, and you know.
Yeah, more.
A lot of the fine structure had to change because of the way the
Internet
system worked,
library
and
law.
because the people that, the directors that are on the answer committee were tired of there being like, I don't know, there were hundreds of different fine schedules for each library, so they broke it down to like 10 to make it easier across the board. So some of the fines had to be, like, for instance, you'll see here on the audiobooks, it says 25 cents a day. That used to be 35, but you can no longer use 35. That's not an option. So Eleanor, it was Eleanor and Linda went through all of our numbers, and basically the three changes are those you see handwritten there. I don't believe any of these other things. These other things it's a little more complicated because we used to have in our the old handbook, it would say something like adult fiction. Let me see, I'll read you.
Well, what we're voting on right now.
It's just that,
It's
50 cents,
just,
right.
it's
Well,
just
basically
the,
to accept this as
right.
this is the
And the
fine
only thing
schedule
we're
as it
going to
stands now.
change here is the 25 cents to 50 cents for the DVDs.
I believe everything else down here stays
Blu-rays are
the same.
$1, so it's the DVDs.
Okay,
are
so
being
on
adjusted.
adult books, we're going from 15 to 20 or 20 to 15?
We already did. We already went from 15 to 20.
Okay.
We already went from 35 to 25, and for some reason went from 50 to 25 for the DVDs. We actually lost money this year in fines.
That's what we're gonna do.
So
we're
we're
really
going
just putting
to,
that back to
we
50.
we cannot go back to the 15 or the 35, those are no longer approved by the RCLS.
Right.
So the only thing we can change back in our favor is the DVDs back to 50 cents. So we're going to approve the two different things, changing that to 50 cents and approving the whole rest of this as written.
Actually, you could put, if you want adult books back, no, adult books we want to keep that.
I'm sorry,
right,
hold on.
25 cents. So it's just putting that back up.
Yeah, it's just
Way
putting
I'm
that back up to
understanding
50
it.
cents. So now, Is it
Yeah.
just one motion to just?
Yes, just to
fine?
accept this
Right.
fine schedule.
Right, so we're gonna change the
So it's
DVDs to 50 cents a day.
No, these are all staying.
Okay, so we're changing
So
we've
DVDs
already-
to
we've
50
already-
cents a
right,
day,
we've
and then
already
we just need a motion to accept these fines as they're written.
So
Yes.
moved.
Thank you.
Motion, or is it-
No, just one. Just take your pen and make that 50, and then we vote on it. So I have Jim has made the motion, a second, please?
I second.
Keith seconds, all in favor of accepting the fines as are?
Aye.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Now,
Okay.
question is, this is how the old policy is written, so I'm gonna go and take these numbers and insert them in here. Do you
Sounds
need-
good.
Okay, so this is, since this is accepted, I think we don't need
I
to.
don't think, you don't
double-
need to
okay.
go over
It's
that,
just the
right?
numbers here.
No.
Okay.
All right, awesome. So that's
But
it
do-
for new business?
Do we need a copy of that for our handbook, or is just,
This will be in the, this will be in the
This
new.
is the
It'll be in the new
final
one.
adjustment to the books, and so now new books can be printed and be put on the web.
okay, but we don't need that for our,
You'll get it with the new.
You'll
business.
get it with the
Yeah,
new
that'll be
business.
the-
thank you.
We did.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's it for new business?
That's it. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so anything proposed agenda items for next month's meeting? Aside, okay, we have, Jack is going to give us,
Yes,
itemized
quarterly,
list of
right.
quarterly, checks. We're going to look for the engineer's report and our environmental impact study.
Yep, got it.
Okay, is there anything else that anyone wants to?
When is the reorganization meeting?
I think is that next month or the month after? Next month is, we have a vote Wednesday.
Right, we swear the members in.
We
We swear the new
swear the
members
members
in,
in.
and then it's the following month that we have the
In
reorganization.
July
It's
is
July.
when we do,
For the
vote.
new fiscal year.
So in May, they would set up, a nominating committee who
So
would
then,
come with,
and then the election is in June,
Yes,
yes,
okay.
and then they take over in July.
that's right.
Right. Okay. Okay, so next month, we need to set up a nominating committee.
Yes.
Okay, so we can put that on into under new business now. Thank you. All right. No
And
privilege.
swear in.
And the swear in, right, we
Yes.
swear in new members. Ooh, I hope it's you guys. It'll be
We'll
up
have,
all
we'll have
night
two
Wednesday.
new members.
Careful what you wish for, you just might get it.
Oh,
Or I think maybe 7 or 8. How many 30-hour full-time employees do we have?
not many.
8.
Yeah, and everybody else is part-time.
That's something we have to keep on our radar though, for health insurance.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be, that could be very costly,
Mm-hmm.
because we will have to offer them health insurance
We already offer health insurance full-time.
full-time, but
Mhm.
paid.
Okay, privilege of the floor. Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session. Norma, thank you, a second. Keith, all in favor?
Okay.
All right, we're going into executive session at 9:01.